My neighbor's quiet life was a front for a secret spy network. My neighbor, Mr. Thompson, was the kind of guy who blended into the background. He lived alone in a modest house, drove an unremarkable sedan, and spent most of his time tending to his garden. He was polite but reserved, the kind of person you'd nod to in passing but never really think twice about. That all changed one Tuesday morning. I was out walking my dog when I noticed a black SUV parked in front of his house. Two men in suits were standing on his porch, talking to him in hushed tones. I didn't think much of it, maybe they were selling something. But then I saw Mr. Thompson hand them a manila envelope. He glanced around nervously, and when our eyes met, he quickly looked away. Weird, but whatever. I went about my day. A few weeks later, I was binge-watching a spy thriller series when I heard a loud crash coming from Mr. Thompson's backyard. I rushed over to see if he was okay, only to find him standing over a broken trellis, holding what looked like a high-tech radio. He froze when he saw me, then quickly shoved the device into his pocket. "Just doing some repairs," he said with a forced smile. "Everything's fine." But everything was not fine. Over the next few days, I started noticing strange things. Late-night visitors, odd packages delivered to his door. Once, I even saw him climbing out of his attic window in the middle of the night, dressed in all black. I decided to confront him. "Mr. Thompson," I said, "what's going on? Are you in some kind of trouble?" He hesitated, then sighed. "Look, I can't explain everything, but I need you to trust me. If anyone asks, you haven't seen anything unusual, okay?" Before I could respond, he closed the door in my face. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of helicopters overhead. I looked out my window to see Mr. Thompson's house surrounded by law enforcement. They were shouting through megaphones, telling him to come out with his hands up. I watched in stunned silence as he emerged, hands raised, and was promptly arrested. It wasn't until the news broke later that day that I learned the truth. Mr. Thompson wasn't just a quiet retiree. He was a former intelligence operative who had been running a secret spy network out of his home. The manila envelope, classified documents, the late-night visitors, informants, and the high-tech radio, a communication device linked to a foreign government. Turns out, Mr. Thompson had been selling state secrets for years, all while maintaining the facade of a harmless old man. The FBI had been watching him for months, and the arrest was the culmination of a massive investigation. The craziest part? He'd been using his garden as a dead drop for passing information. Those tulips he was so proud of. They were hiding encrypted flash drives. Now, every time I walk past his house, I can't help but wonder how many other ordinary people might be living double lives.